You know me, I'm not one for update videos, but this month has been so bizarre that I wanted to tell you about it. So far, I'm about $15,000 poorer because of what happened, but I also want to tell you how that loss might turn out to be a great thing. First, I've uploaded a video to this channel at least once a month for over a decade now. That's not very often, and the amount of growth I've seen from so few uploads is pretty remarkable. I don't like going longer than a month, and I usually have more than enough to say. So I write a lot of scripts. Most of them never see the light of day. I take the ones I like and make them into videos or animations. That's my process. Well, the first week of this month, we went on a vacation for the first time in about 8 years, a much needed vacation. Nothing extravagant, but it did mean spending a little extra money. We drove up to Tennessee and went hiking in the mountains. We stayed there for 3 days, and then we came back home to Florida, where we've lived for about the past 20 through 23 years. So I knew things were going to be a little tight this month, both in time and money, but that's fine. Next month, I'll be in the green again, right? Well, what was most important to me was that I had work lined up, ready to go, because I was already sort of behind due to the vacation. I had a nice script that I liked for a neat little animation. I shared the script on my Patreon if you want to see it. And just as I was starting the animation process, something catastrophic happened that I've always joked about God not doing to me. And that is striking me with lightning. Well, fortunately, God missed me, but what happened was that the lightning hit my house. Basically, it sounded like we were being bombarded with artillery fire. And when I say it hit my house, I mean that it blew a hole through the siding, went into the interior wall of my son's room, and burst out of the wall, putting a hole through the drywall. Pieces of wall actually landed in my son's bed. Now, luckily, my son was not in his room at the time. He was just outside of it, probably about 15 or 20 feet away from the lightning bolt. The lightning also went through our cable line, through our entire house, and then exploded the line over the street. It looked like spaghetti, that cable line. Uh, that destroyed my modem and router, and even though they were plugged into a surge protector. Now, I built my computer myself from the motherboard up, and so I naturally cared about it. So I had it plugged into a very heavy duty surge protector, but the Ethernet cable was hooked up to the router. So guess what happened? Yeah, my computer got fried via the Ethernet cable. Uh, the lightning didn't just trip our certain circuit breakers; it literally physically split them in half. Uh, by the way, everything else that was plugged into that heavy duty surge protector, like my backup drives, survived. It was an APC battery backup and surge protector. Not sponsored or anything, just grateful. So just letting you know that it did its job. Now, there comes a point when things are so messed up that you cross over from being scared and frustrated and you just end up laughing. And that's kind of where I was. It's funny. So we went out without power for a while, no AC in the Florida heat. It was pretty bad. I was especially worried about how my son would handle all this. He would not understand, but he didn't skip a beat. He was fine, good natured. He's always good natured. And I had to remember that, I grew up without an AC at all. And look how I turned out. Okay, scratch that. Maybe I should be worried. We are insured, but I haven't seen any money from the insurance company yet. And the repairs needed to be done ASAP. So I just bit the bullet and spent the money. And I just have to hope that the insurance company doesn't try to screw me and that they'll reimburse me. Electrician got the power running. I just got done building a new computer, which is why you're seeing this video now and why I haven't made that animation yet. But things are gradually returning to normal. Now, I was reluctant to say anything about this because someone might think that maybe God really did have something to do with it. Now, I want you to think about that logic for a second while I tell you this. Lightning also hit 5 other houses in my neighborhood during that storm. I highly doubt literally any of them were atheists. I mean, we've been through hurricanes without any damage, while everyone around us had at least some damage. I mean, we just been very lucky. But one of the inspectors who work with the insurance company to assess what sort of repairs need to be done said that he has seen a lot of lightning strikes, and all of the ones as bad as ours resulted in fire damage from the lightning and water damage from the fire department. Well, we called the fire department as soon as it happened, and they checked behind the walls with an infrared scanner and found no heat, so no fire. The inspector said that God was looking out for us, and that we were very blessed, and that we should thank the man upstairs. I didn't have the heart to tell him. It was one of those just smile and nod moments. But isn't it funny how just a perfectly natural act of weather can cause opposite religious reactions? You'd have some people claiming it was God's wrath, while others claiming it was God's mercy. Either way, what kind of God would send lightning into a little child's room? If you think God would do that on purpose, and you think that's a good God, then frankly, you aren't a good person. You're morally broken. Now, let me tell you how the lightning will actually turn out to be a positive thing. Because I had to live in the Stone Age for about a week, I dug up a trilogy of books that I wrote about 20 or so years ago. I'm talking around 300,000 words. I was talking to a friend of mine who was basically a genius, and we were discussing a new book that I recently started working on, one that I wanted to share with you on this YouTube channel. And he mentioned those old books I wrote. Now, he's one of the few people I allowed to read them. And frankly, I was really surprised he remembered them. And you know what? He couldn't praise them enough. He loved them. And this is a guy who is not only very intelligent, but he's one of those people who will be brutally honest with you. So if he tells you he likes something, he really means it. So during my time in the Stone Age, I revisited those books. And you know what? They are way better than I remembered. I actually really enjoyed them. And the reason I never tried to publish them is because I gave up before I even started. I had a very defeatist attitude. I thought that I was a nobody, so publishers would just reject me. They probably get a million submissions from known, safe people, and I'd just be a gamble to them, so why bother? Well, times have changed since then. I can publish them myself, and I can share them with you on this channel, and now thousands of people get to experience them. So that's what I'm going to do. But it'll be a bit different than what you're used to seeing from me. I'm going to narrate them like an audiobook. What you see on my channel are animations, but the real heart of those animations can be found in the writing and the voice acting. And I can do both of those things very well. So that is what I'm going to do with these books that I'm going to share with you. These books were written before YouTube even existed. They were not written with animation in mind. They're vast. They have a lot of characters, a lot of action, battles, many diverse environments that span forests, metropolises, mountains, wastelands, caverns, you name it. I wanted to make a grand, sweeping fantasy adventure epic across these three books, and I succeeded. It would take a huge animation studio to animate this story, so I can't do that. But I can narrate it, and my words will still paint the picture for you to visualize, and maybe that will be even better. One of the things I love is when I find a great series to watch. Remember waiting for new Game of Thrones episodes, or when The Walking Dead was new, or even The Last of Us recently. Looking forward to the next episode to find out what happens is a really good feeling. And I want to create that for you. And I think this story can do that. I want you to care about the characters. And you know me, I put all kinds of unexpected twists in there with little clues along the way, but I try to remain quite unpredictable about it. I like to mix seriousness and with comedy, and I think I did a good job of balancing those out. And this is going to be something to escape to. It's escapism. It was largely written at the turn of the century, so there's no modern political issues. There's no preaching or heavy-handed moral lessons. There's some intrigue and philosophical connotations, but nothing that will feel like a work or scorn. It's going to be entertainment. Basically, anyone can enjoy this story. So here's what will happen. Currently, I'm editing the books and polishing them up. I have to create the narrations, which will take a while. It's not like merely reading, it's also acting and editing. I'm also going to make sure that at least book one is published and fully available before I start uploading the audio version to this channel. That way, if you like it, you can buy a physical or digital copy and read ahead if you want. It's also a great way to support me. But if you can't, I still want the audio version to be available for anyone to enjoy. So maybe I'll release an hour-long episode every Friday at the same time or something, just like a show for anyone to listen to. I want my work to be out there. Since it'll take a little while to get all this done so that you don't have to wait a long time between episodes like you did with Power Corrupts, I plan on continuing to upload various animations and speeches just like I've always done. But later this year, hopefully, when everything with this trilogy of books is set up, then that will take over for a bit and will probably be one or two uploads a week. Hell, if you want me to have an episode come out every day until they're done, let me know. But I'm thinking once a week will be good. So in the end, we're going to be okay. But any support through Patreon or YouTube memberships is greatly appreciated. The most important thing I do with that money is save and invest as much as I can for my son, who has special needs and will need assistance for the rest of his life. So my first goal is to accumulate enough while I'm alive so that he will have enough resources for the rest of his life after I'm dead. 2 lifetimes worth of income made in 1 lifetime. That's the goal I set for myself. So when you contribute to my channel, that's largely where it's going. I just wanted to let you know that. But what I'm doing next is not just about the money. I've always wanted to create and tell stories ever since I was a little kid. If I finally get to do that now and be successful at it, not just in terms of money, but in creating genuine enjoyment for people, then I'll be glad that lightning lit a fire under my ass.